Hi everyone, Stone Evans here, coming to you from my backyard in Dallas, Texas. And I have something I'd like to speak with you about today, and I'm calling this Embrace the Pressure. And in this particular case, I'm talking about financial pressure. You know, a lot of us, everybody, our life runs on money, and there's always demands for more money. If we want to achieve more or just live our basic life as it is, then we need money to pay for it. And really, the demands grow constantly in our life. Generally, the older we get, the more responsibility we accept, the more financial pressure we'll be under. And I want to invite you not to look at that pressure as a negative thing, but to embrace the pressure. You see, when I first started my internet business, I was under a lot of financial pressure. And, you know, there's probably some people in life that when they feel financial pressure or pressure of any kind, maybe they cave to it. Maybe they give up and they stop trying and they don't, they don't embrace the pressure. But really, pressure, like a pressure cooker, something good is happening, like coal being compressed, and turning itself into a diamond. This is what pressure in your life can do for you. This is what financial pressure can do for you. When I started my entrepreneurial journey, my wife and I, we had a restaurant. And when we had children, my wife went home to take care of our kids as we had our first child, and I ran the restaurant. And it was very difficult for a period of several years to provide the income that my family needed as my young children started to grow, and I wanted desperately, to find a way to be more available to my wife, to be present at home with my kids. And I'm listening to my dog bark and see what's going on. So I was feeling a lot of pressure to provide for my family. And that pressure ultimately caused me to make decisions and to change how I was thinking, what actions I was taking in order to meet my financial responsibilities and in fact live up to the potential that I had to be able to provide for my family and live the dreams, the vision, the hopes that I had for myself. So that pressure was motivating, that pressure was inspiring, and if that pressure wasn't there, I wouldn't have thought the thoughts that I thought. I wouldn't have researched the things that I researched. I wouldn't have done the things that I'd done that led me to where I am today. This is my house behind me here, and this is quite a bit larger and has a lot more to offer for my family than, what we were living in before. I was living in a home that was being run down, that was much smaller, that didn't provide the beauty. And let me turn around here. So here in my backyard, we have a lot of scenery to enjoy and go take hikes, and it's a really, really beautiful part of Dallas, Texas. And, this is my backyard, this is my life, and this wouldn't have been possible living life this way if I hadn't felt pressure. And the pressure was not having enough money to do what I wanted to do. The pressure was having bills arrive in my mailbox that I couldn't pay at the time, that I didn't have the resources. But it's in then going, well, it's asking the right questions, because questions are the answer. Questions, when you ask the right questions to yourself, it will lead to the answers that only you will find inside yourself, based on your psychology, who you are as a person, the resources you have available to you. When you ask the questions like, well, how can I pay for this? Not only pay for my current responsibilities, but how can I pay for the life that I want to live? And again, this requires having a vision, and when you have that vision, then you'll ask questions of yourself that really, what questions do, they cause you to look deep inside yourself and find resources that have always been there, but you wouldn't have had access to, you wouldn't have actualized if you didn't ask the questions and find those answers inside yourself. So this, in my life, a lot of people don't act until they feel a certain pressure. And in my life, to raise my family up to the next level, I needed to be faced with pressure. And look, I'm not cutting it. I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough of the right things. And a lot of times you'll find that people, entrepreneurs, very successful, millionaires and billionaires, they don't necessarily work harder than you. They work differently than you. They ask themselves different questions and they take different actions. And for many of us, that leads to an entrepreneurial journey. That leads to figuring out how we can serve others, how we can write and define our own paychecks and live a life that pays us what we're actually worth and not what some boss or organization deems we're worth. So the entrepreneurial journey is often a beginning of people, for people, when they feel enough pressure, when they feel that this isn't cutting it, that I'm not happy, that I'm not living my dream, I'm not living even to my potential. And at that moment, if the pressure and pain is big enough, it will often cause people to act and think differently, and that often starts with asking yourselves new questions. And I'm at a juncture in my life where I'm looking, I have a 13 and 14-year-old child, and we're now looking at college, we're looking at career paths, we're looking at a lot of new demands on us as a family. Life doesn't get less expensive as you go along. I think generally it gets more expensive as you go along forever. And a lot of factors are built into that, including inflation, just the cost of living. But something else is built into that. If you have a vision, if you're truly living, often you're expanding. You're expanding your sense of what's possible. You're expanding your desire. Desire is a sense of growth. You see the trees behind me? The grass on the ground. Everything that grows comes from a desire to grow. And you, like me, have a desire to be more than you are. And whether it's pressure that you're feeling, sometimes that pressure is probably like a flower inside of a bud or a tree wanting to sprout. This also is pressure. When you're feeling pressure, you're feeling the impetus inside of you for growth. So embrace that pressure, because it's the calling inside of you that knows that you can achieve more, knows that you are more. And when you're feeling pressure, it's a good sign. Begin to ask yourself new questions. Begin to ask yourself, how can I respond to this pressure in a different way? To realize a higher part of myself, to be able to achieve more, to be able to not only fulfill these financial responsibilities, but to exceed them wildly and live the life that I imagined as a child, live the life that I hope for myself and my children. This is it. This is my message for you today. Embrace the pressure that you feel. Let it cause you to turn around and look inside yourself and dig deep for resources that are definitely there already, but that will probably only be actualized when you feel enough pain and pressure and stress to go inside and look and ask yourself some new questions, because when you do, you'll find answers that will excite you, that will inspire you, and that will motivate you. And those answers, when acted upon, will ultimately release you from the pressure, because you will become a higher version of yourself. And all of those challenges, financial and otherwise, that you were facing, you will be able to rise above. And then there'll be a new pressure someday, but it's the calling for your growth again. So embrace your pressure, look within, find deeper resources inside yourself, and become the best and all of who you are. That's it for me today. Thanks for watching, and make it an awesome day.